Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Letter. Yeah, it's Cat Demon 43, and in the last episode we just got started on Hannah's story, and I got a bit of a confession to make. It took a while to edit that video, mainly because I had a lot of work happening, and also I had Thanksgiving turkey, and I got extremely tired and sleepy, and I just wanted to go to bed after working several days in a row, and after having turkey I couldn't bring myself to edit the video. So yeah, a bit of a delay, but regardless, so yeah, we started with Hannah's story, and we got a glimpse of the ghost in a mirror, which she thought was a painting, which is not the case. Anyway, sick and hovering over the loo at 3 in the morning. The picture I paint right now is hardly glamorous. A horrible fishy taste is left in my mouth as I throw up what I had for dinner, and I hate the acid stench that fills the lavatory. The burning sensation at the back of my throat is of no help whatsoever. I can feel another wave of nausea coming up on me when the door opens.
Hannah, what are you doing so early out of bed?
I'm fine, love. I must have just eaten something bad.
That's all I managed to say before vomiting again into the porcelain throne. Lovely.
Just go back to bed, Luke. I'm going to clean up here.
Oh, poor Hannah. I refuse to look at him. I don't want him to see me like this. The last time I've had a horrible morning retching into a toilet was during my college years, before being the life of the party. Thoughtless and shameless, I had thrown away months of frivolous merriment and pointless hookups. I didn't even retain any of the connections I had made from that time. Sure, they still know me, and I still know of them, and we still do business from time to time. But I've lost touch with anyone who I didn't see on a daily basis. I hardly have any of the friends I had when I was still Hannah Evans. Teachers, fellow university students, drinking buddies, and old conquests like Jack. Oh. Wait. Who's Jack? I can't remember. Who the heck was Jack?
No, don't touch me, sweetie. It's disgusting.
Aw. Okay, he at least cares about his wife. It's good, but my only thing is with the image. It's 3 in the morning. Why aren't they at least in pajamas? They couldn't draw pajamas for them? Whatever.
I'm disgusting.
Aw. Luke sits down next to me on the toilet floor to hold my hair, even as I cough up more fish. He wipes the vomit from the corner of my mouth and just stares.
Do I need to fire someone? I don't feel sick.
Aw.
Just feeling a bit under the weather, dear. It's been unbearably hot as of late, hasn't it? I do wish it would rain.
Are you sure it wasn't those sweets? I told you not to eat those sweets.
Okay. Dang it. Voice actor, you grow on me. Why? Why do you grow on me? I'm supposed to hate you. Maybe it's the laugh. I don't know.
Maybe. Well, don't laugh.
Well, I can't help if you make that sort of face.
He starts chuckling, and soon enough, he's in a fit of laughter. This scene happening next to a loo filled with sick just makes the whole thing bizarre, and it nearly makes me start giggling as well. I try to stifle it, though, as I smack him on the shoulder.
I'm not making a face, Luke. Stop laughing. Shut up.
When he would not stop laughing, I let myself go as laughter bubbles from my own throat, and I forget whatever ill feelings plagued me. We are just a husband and wife, laughing together at a funny face. The little things in life. I let myself go because I knew that these moments will not last forever. But if I just know the terrible things that are to come for us, I would have wished that everything I have then and there, that the laughter stayed.
Up, higher! Come on now!
During the open house, Hannah pressured the estate agents to sell her the mansion. The Wrights also met their interior designer. During the ride home, Hannah revealed that the mansion is her anniversary gift for Luke. Things seemed to be looking up until Hannah suddenly fell ill later that night. The place is bustling with movers carrying furnishings here and there, along with several trunks of personal belongings taken from our penthouse. Luke watches them like a hawk, making sure nothing handled carelessly or gets stolen.
Careful now! I know your pictures are framed by cheap plastic, but those are framed by African Blackwood and are one-of-a-kind commissioned paintings.
Oh, jeez.
Each one is easily worth a lifetime of what you lot make.
Luke, do the dishwashers go into the kitchen or the butler's pantry?
Pantry, Buttercup. Careful, that's Emma No, you there, put that down. You do not manhandle a Napoleon Abueva.
I can see the expression, and I have to send the foreman an apologetic glance. Even Johannes rolls his eyes as he goes by. Considering Luke is always like this during a project, Johannes and I have gotten used to it. Poor Marianne, on the other hand, looks a bit stressed at seeing the gigantic mess before quickly going back to work. Everything just has to be perfect, exactly the way he wants it. One little thing out of place, one little thing that didn't fit the image he clearly constructed in his head, and Luke gets bent out of shape.
Sweetie, why don't we go and sort your suits upstairs? Let Johannes and Marianne and the foreman deal with the rest of the work.
We have this, Mrs. Wright.
You seem to be in a lot better mood, Marianne.
Yes, please do go before a blood vessel bursts. Bloodstains are so troublesome to clean.
Why does that line bother me? Taking him by the hand, I lead him upstairs into our bedroom. Oh, it's a nice looking bedroom. This place has been arranged first so that we can get some rest, no matter what state the rest of the mansion is in. I am definitely glad I can just lie down on a soft, comfy bed after what has been a busy morning. Watching Luke act like his life depended on getting this move done is tiring all in its own. And to think I have a whole day of this ahead of me. I feel the bed dip beside me as Luke sits down with a sigh.
Well, I can't wait for this to be over.
I don't know. It's fun seeing you all fired up. Here at home and not at work, you know.
You know I can't always be home, Hannah. I have a company to run, unless you've forgotten.
I haven't forgotten. You're the one who insists on being there to make sure each and every little thing is under control.
Oh gosh, you would be an interesting dad, so to speak.
I just really miss you sometimes, and I wish you were at home more often. Why, if you're not careful, I might go a bit loopy and I'll start bringing cats home.
Yeah, you can have a cat or two. Nothing wrong with that.
And soon enough, one day you'll find yourself going home to a farm just filled with felines that follow you everywhere.
I'd love to see a picture of that.
Oh, don't bluff. The things would shred up your precious furniture.
Not if you get them declawed. I know a lot of people hate the fact, like, oh, declawing your cat is bad, but if it's an indoor cat, I mean, you want to protect your furniture. Declawing the front, and you'd just be getting rid of the front claws, not the back ones. They still have their back claws, but yeah.
Besides, you don't even like cats.
Hey, I like cats.
True. Dogs are infinitely superior, of course.
What the heck is with everyone not liking cats? I don't understand.
But what about the wet dog smell? The mess? I'm not cleaning up after a mutt, no matter how cute. If you think about it, a cat would be better.
We laugh. It's not always that we can just lie down and talk about these sorts of things. To joke around as if we're teenagers again, with very little problem in the way of responsibilities and roles. To hear his genuine, honest-to-goodness laughter is a rarity. This is just the second time as of late, and I can only see it as signs of good things to come.
All good points. I guess we could just have kids. That is, if you prefer dealing with soiled nappies and sick as opposed to dead birds, mice, and litter boxes. I've already told Marianne about turning the second bedroom into a children's room.
I guess sometimes I don't know when I'm crossing a line. I didn't say that I'm a good comedian, did I?
Not this again.
What? I wasn't being serious.
It's not something you take the piss out of. Having a kid is a big responsibility, Hannah. We've talked about this, haven't we? I'm not ready to be a parent. I'd probably end up killing the little brat by the week's end.
Honestly, he seems like he doesn't believe he'd be a good dad. I guess that has something to do with his own personal life, with his own father? Like, we know about Hannah, but we really barely know nothing about Luke except for hearsay and our own speculation. And I get the feeling that it's got something to do with his dad. So I'm gonna say this.
Kylie likes you well enough.
Kylie. I don't think I've met Kylie yet. Oh, hold on. Oh, it went up. The mention of our goddaughter places a conflicted look on his face. Oh, he's blushing. Sometimes it is cute when he denies having a soft spot for the little girl. But then, sometimes it's sad, and it makes me wonder what happened to make him think so poorly of himself in this regard. Yeah, exactly. I think it's got something to do with his family. I really do.
Yes, well, it's Kylie. The tyke likes everybody and, on the off chance she doesn't, likes them well enough as long as they buy her sweets. And sure, that kid is great, but if I get tired of her, I can ship her back to her father at the end of the day. Having kids of our own will be a whole different monster entirely.
I have never heard him talk about his father in anything but a business context. Yeah. Makes me wonder about that. I recall Damien Wright. Kept hearing about him from my own father, even before I met Luke. The business world praised him for running a tight ship, all until one mistake led to a great loss for the enterprise. It was then that news of Luke Wright, prodigy, son, and successor to the old man, started to show up, and he aided in its recovery and growth up until the Great Recession. I'm getting a bit off track. No, that's good. I need more info. Regardless, I have never heard him talk about his father like one would talk about family. Oh, wait. I'm getting... I hope I'm wrong and your father didn't abuse you. I hope he didn't abuse you. But this whole sign of doubting yourself of being a father, the constant thing of drinking, makes me think otherwise.
I think you'll be a great father.
There is a smile, no matter how half-hearted it may be. I do really think that. He might not be a good, honest man. A part of me knows that, though I try to silence it. But I know Luke well enough that he will be a better father than either Damien Wright or Henry Evans. I love my father, but he never had the time.
If it is any consolation, I think you'd be a decent mother.
Oh, thanks. On the other hand, I never heard of his mother. Oh, I think that probably comes into play too. A silence settles both comfortable and uncomfortable, and he is blushing. There is familiarity in each other's company despite the awkwardness that had transpired. Differences that masks down without anybody else looking. We are both together and alone in this quiet. Oh, swizzle sticks. Okay, something expensive sounding broke. But a crash from downstairs startles us both out of our retrieve. Luke lets out a heavy sigh before coming up to his feet and straightening his jacket.
I'll have to attend to that then.
Yep, you go do that.
Be good, darling. And watch out for your blood pressure.
Yeah. He gives me a kiss on the cheek before leaving, while I lay there in a daze. Alone as per usual. Oh. Babies! Wait. Is she pregnant? Is she pregnant with twins? Oh my gosh, if she's pregnant with twins. Oh my god. Okay. Sorry, we got to get the picture. The picture's adorable. The babies look so cute. The Wright couple moved to their newly bought mansion today and was already preparing for a housewarming party. During a short break, the couple had a brief discussion about children. Luke didn't sound too welcoming of the idea. Oh my god. I really should be used to it by now. I can feel the minutes tick by with me just lying there, feeling miserable and full of self-pity. I've rolled over to lie on my stomach at this point, with my face buried into the pillows when there's a knock at the door. Grumbling at them to go away doesn't work as a voice comes from the other side.
Madam, the photographer from Luxury Living is here.
Oh, is it Zach? Wait, is that today? Oh yes. People have caught wind of our new mansion, the very moment we left the open house. Luke had boasted he could acquire the property in no time, and allowed a photo shoot for an interior design magazine to be scheduled today. Well, there were complications, and it took longer than it usually does for us.
In a minute, Hansi.
Uh-oh, I bet he doesn't like that as a nickname.
Johannes, if you could at least make it through the end.
Oh.
Tell them I'll be right down, Hansi.
And you're just doing that to get him. Okay. The mansion grounds have been one of the first things to be fixed up, aside from the bedroom. Although, it's still a work in progress. It had a promising start, and I can already see the flower patches. Luke's favored daffodils stand out easily, having been transplanted from pots that used to litter the rooftop of our penthouse. Why, if the moving crew thought that Luke was being hard on them, they clearly didn't see the landscaper on his way out. The man looked like he was ready to faint, and Luke seemed ready to kill him by the end of their discussion. Oh, he's got a camera, too. It is the gardens that I see him standing near the flowers in quiet admiration. He is hard to miss, the hulk of a man that clearly did not belong, and the big backpack and suitcase that he has with him makes him look much larger. It is a peculiar sight, seeing someone who looks like he does, handling little delicate things with such care. He looks up from the gardens and does a double take before a friendly face replaces his serene expression.
Miss Wright, yeah? Hi, Zachary Steele here from Luxury Living, ma'am.
Aw,
Hope you weren't waiting too long.
oh, he's a sweetie.
But it looks like you're still moving in, huh? Thought for a second there my calendar was wrong and I came here too early.
The one and only. Welcome, welcome to Maison de Wright. And yes, we've been in the process of moving in as we were delayed. but it won't be a problem. They're just adding a few things here and there, and you should still be able to do your work. Where's the rest of your crew then, Mr. Steele?
Zach is fine, please. Mr. Steele makes me feel like I'm a mascot for a cleaning product.
Yeah. Mr. Clean.
Anyway, I'll be your one-man crew for today. Don't worry, been doing this gig for a while now.
You must be quite the veteran to handle this on your own. We've had a full crew coming into our penthouse the last time we were covered in your magazine.
Veteran? Oh, your words are too kind, Miss Wright.
Hannah, if I get to call you Zach, you have my permission to call me Hannah.
Alrighty then. Anyway, I'm no veteran, but I know my camera well enough to make sure this is a good shoot. You can trust me on that, Miss Wright. Hannah.
Ooh. Monsieur de la Photographe. I really should learn more French. I need to learn my French again. Zachary proves quickly enough that I can, in fact, trust him. His skills with the camera and experience in this industry are at the very least. A really nice fellow, and he treats our household staff well whenever we run across paths with them. I answer his questions to the best of my ability, and he is patient enough to answer mine whenever I get curious enough. For one, I ask what the bags are for. They're quite the magician's toolkit. From inside, he has procured several items to embellish the interior with. Bowls of fruits, lemons, trays with pepper mills, stacks of cookbooks, cutting boards, and glass canisters filled with colorful nuts and grains are brought in from the kitchen setting, for a kitchen setting. For the bathroom, there are white towels, seashells, and decorative soaps. There are other things as well, too numerous to count, all in that large backpack and suitcase.
Tricks of the trade. Softens up a room, makes a place feel more homey, and fills it up with texture.
Cool.
But you guys probably have better stuff I can use for this.
Though it is actually true, when you're doing like a lot of photo stuff, sometimes it's always just good to bring what you think would work for a scene, for photography, rather than just what's on hand. Because it wouldn't necessarily work with the vision you have in your mind.
No lights. Don't tell me all of these are just props.
Well, I've got my tripod here. For things like these, natural light is best.
It is very true.
I'll just have to set the shutter speed to a real slow setting, and as long as nobody steps into the shot, it'll look great.
Cool.
Oh, it better.
We go through the rooms one at a time, although we first tackle the ones that the movers have no business in anymore. Oh my gosh, look at the ballroom. The ballroom needs little preparation, with its grand design. Although there is some trouble at first, with the wide open space, the pictures begin being backlit. It is in the kitchen that Zachary props come in handy, considering how Johannes kept the place so neat and sterile, one could practically eat off the floor. We carry on, touring the house and taking pictures where we can, with exception to the rooms which have yet to gain any purpose or design. Too bad I can't take a sneak peek at his photos yet. Funny enough, he is using a traditional camera. I didn't even know film still existed. It does, but it's pretty expensive. With the way he speaks, however, I can see that he knows enough about his craft that I'm not too worried about botched photographs. I imagine photography must be cathartic for him, judging by how at ease he looks while taking pictures. There are small snippets of conversation in between the clicking of the camera. He even goes so far as to talk about the terminologies like shutter speeds and aperture when I ask about the technical aspects. I can't quite see the picture as it is made, much like when I watch artists paint on their canvas. But watching someone passionately practicing their craft, such as this, is exciting on its own. Whatever. Going through the many rooms has been quite the exercise for the both of us. Well, Hannah you're so pretty. Despite that, he has been so nice, and I find myself putting on my best smile. But it is as we are taking pictures in the foyer that everything comes to a standstill for a moment. What? Just a moment. Oh no. Ghost, are you here now? And have I not been paying attention, I wouldn't have even noticed. It is merely a split second when Zachary's rhythm is put to a halt. Fuck. His finger doesn't move to release the shutter. Ugh. Oh, and it looks like she's trying to strangle her, too. Oh, that's so creepy. Yet, he also doesn't pull the camera away from his face, gaze still firmly fixed through the viewfinder. His hands shake, and there is a light sheen of sweat on his forehead.
Zachary?
No response.
Zach? Is something the matter?
There's a ghost behind you, sweetie. Lowering his camera, he blinks and stares at something behind me before shaking his head. I really do like the animations in this. Like, it's very subtle, but I really like that. Just the fact, seeing her head turn, that was really cool. Turning around, though, I see nothing that could have gotten his attention.
Oh, no, there's nothing wrong. I just remembered something I saw. Let's get back to the pictures. Can you move a bit more to the left, yeah?
I struggle to respond this time. There's a sudden weight on my back, an indescribable tightness around my throat. Ugh. Everything stops. And everything starts again, as I manage to choke out.
If you're sure.
I don't know what just happened. It was probably just a dizzy spell. I'm fine. And he said he's fine. We'll continue this at the same pace as before, although there is an unspoken agreement that we will not talk about what just happened. About what happened.
So, is this a full-time job for you then?
Nah, I just freelance mostly, for magazines, newspapers, and events. So you can't really call it a full-time job.
Oh, my grandpa did that.
It's fun and it puts food on the table, but it's not what I really want to do. At least, not all the time.
What is it that you want to do then?
Maybe I have been out of line, sticking my nose into other people's business, but I can't help but ask. I regret doing so, as his shoulders slump, and the easygoing air he has fades away. He looks torn over whether he wants to talk about it or not. Oh, right, the movie. Yeah, that happened.
Films. Documentaries, mostly. But cinematography is a lot more difficult than photography, right?
It has similar aspects, but yeah, there's a lot that is different between them.
I was working on this thing, actually.
What thing?
Well, it wasn't really a big thing. People didn't like Blue Fonzie very much.
Oh. I bet it was really good. I would have watched it if the game gave me the option to.
People don't like a film about colors. I suppose they would have liked Blue Bibby a lot more.
Very funny.
So, Grand Director, do you want to tell me what Blue Fonzie is all about?
He hesitates. But when I refuse to budge on the matter, he gives in and spills it all out. Blue Fonzie. Le hill la plus sombre des noirs Britannoskis. I am butchered that completely. Dark blue, the darkest hours of the Black British. He speaks with passion of one who has gone through the very matter he is concerned with. There is conviction, knowledge, and experience in his speech. Why, I would have told him that he is an amazing speaker, if only I wasn't so engrossed listening. Prejudice and discrimination in schools and the workplace. Lesser chances for opportunity and higher chances of being treated like a criminal. He spoke of blacks and people of color in general still being treated like second-class citizens. Any ethnicity has been being treated like that for a very long time. Discrimination and race, things like that, is always a horrible thing. All because of the color of their skin. It is all just positively riveting and sad. It comes to a point wherein he soon loses steam. He looks abashed, realizing what he had just done.
Sorry, I just got so carried away and...
You're allowed.
It's fine. It is really so fascinating to watch people talk about their passion, after all. You should see how your eyes light up when you speak so fiercely. You do have very beautiful eyes.
Uh-huh. Thanks, I guess.
Uh-oh. I want to say that I understand where he's coming from, but I really don't, do I? I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, and I've lived a charmed life. It hasn't been perfect, but the difficulties I've been through pales in comparison to what others experience on a daily basis. I certainly don't know how I would have fared were it any different. Would I still have met Luke? And would he still have loved me if I were any lesser?
What was your home like? These things you talk about, it sounds like you've...
Oh boy, I have a feeling that this is definitely going to come into play into his part in the story. Oh no, I got a bad feeling.
Well, I don't mean to pry, I mean.
Live with my older sister and my grandparents. We had a shop selling all sorts of things below our flat.
You probably came from America, considering you're saying apartment rather than flat.
And well, I was one of the few non-white, non-British students in class.
Oh.
I didn't get pushed around or anything straight up. Even then, I was one of the biggest kids around. But a pencil and notebook would go missing, you know?
Aw. Zach, I want to hug you. You so deserve the greatest of hugs. Oh, that I knew. Children can be so cruel at times. Of course, it may be a slightly different story when you have personal guards and the stolen item is not a pencil, but an expensive heirloom.
So what about you? How you liking your new house? It's pretty impressive.
It is that.
It's nice, I suppose.
You suppose? Not big enough?
What? No, oh, don't be a bully. It's just that...
I understand if you don't want to talk about it.
I was a little girl, all dolled up and treated like fragile porcelain, with nursemaids waiting for me hand and foot. All the material possessions anyone could ever want, I could ask for on a whim, and it would be handed to me just like that. But I barely saw my parents. Just goodbye kisses in the morning before they went off to who knows where they were needed next. I saw them more often on the telly or in the papers than I ever did in person. That's awful. That's really horrible.
I remember my old house. It was a lot like this one. Big walls and big halls, but nobody in it. Not really. It makes you think how alone you are.
A pensive mood overcomes us. And there's a moment where neither of us are sure of how to go on from there. Things have gotten a bit too personal. Yet it isn't wholly uncomfortable, like as if we've been friends before.
Well, that's normal, ain't it? You just moved here. You'll make home out of it yet.
Well, thanks, Zach. He certainly makes it easy to believe that. My childhood house is indeed a lot like this one, just as large and extravagant, and just as empty. I hope he's right.
So, Monsieur le Photographe, you've covered the one and only Ermengarde Mansion. What's next on the agenda?
The interview?
Oh,
Boring. It's an interior design and housing magazine.
And they want to know what Miss Wright has to say about her interior design and house.
aw.
Honor Wright thinks she bought a magnificent house that she can certainly brag about. Blah, blah. Boring. You know what they should print more of? I watched an interesting documentary the other day. Bleu Foncé, The Darkest Hours of the Black British. I recommend you watch it.
Aw.
Those are the things that people should know about.
I love Hannah. Okay, Hannah's becoming one of my favorite characters. I love Isabella, I love Zach, and Ashton has grown on me. Luke is still a dick. But I love Hannah. Oh my gosh, Hannah would definitely be the kind of person you could just want to talk about, just talk with about things you wish to do and stuff like that, and stuff you want to hear. Like, it's someone you can just swap stories with. I get that feeling from Hannah. I don't know. I just really like her.
What do they care if I use a purple or green bowl of fruit in my kitchen?
People, right?
Oui. People are shite. What do you think? Do I look good with this angle?
Aw. I strike a pose while he's being busy, looking taken aback for a moment, probably not expecting me to just go and say such a cross word. But he recovers quickly. After snapping a few shots, he grins.
Yeah, vous êtes belle. You want copies of these ones?
Yes, please. So, the big boy knows French. You must have wooed a few ladies. Unless you're into gents.
Or both.
Either way, French is, after all, the language of romance.
Oh, I don't know about quoting fancy poetry. But I've made lunch for a girl before, and they did like that fancy French cuisine.
Can you cook your best?
You can cook food.
I can cook just about anything as long as I know the recipe.
C'est magnifique.
It has been too long since I've had a nice and proper chat with a good friend. No, Lee is certainly not a good friend. And although we've just met, Zachary is the sort who can probably befriend anyone. He's just a comfortable person to be around with. A bit too comfortable. Oh. The photo shoot went by a breeze. And somewhere along the way, as we talk and laugh, I find myself getting a bit too close without realizing. He'll give me this strange look until I back off, and he'll go back to asking questions after I agreed to do his little interview. And it's just odd. Well, no. Maybe me being friendly isn't that odd. That is how I am. Zachary is the one that's being odd. Why, anyone else would absolutely welcome an extra attention I give them. He, on the other hand, looks almost flustered about it. He should be used to different personalities by now, having to deal with various people when he works. And if not, he needs to start. Perhaps nobody has shown him attention of this kind, but he's a big boy. He should be able to handle me. Oh dear. All it is a friendly touch here, a pretty smile there, and gentle swaying of the hips as I move around. Zachary grew and grew more red every time he noticed. Am I being mean as I find enjoyment in seeing him unravel? Perhaps. This went on during the interview and beyond that. There's nothing wrong with what we're doing, right? Zachary and I are just having a playful, friendly chat while enjoying the outside view. At least, that's how I see it.
I'm sorry, but I'm really getting distracted.
Aw.
Could you maybe stop doing that?
Stop? I'm not sure if I want to, though.
I'll stop if it makes you uncomfortable, sweetie.
Okay. It went up. There we go.
Sorry.
No, I should be the one apologizing. Why, you're a shy one, aren't you, big guy?
Aw.
It's not that, but
He gestures to the ring on my finger, and lets the fact of the matter hang heavily between us. You're married, yeah. Being told implicitly that I am too forward is not a common occurrence. I think I am more stunned at the fact that he pointed it out, rather than, well, being rejected. Not that anything is going to happen between us in the first place. It was just going to be some harmless flirting, right?
So, you've never had a girlfriend?
Oh,
no. No boyfriend either. You know, just in case you were gonna ask for that one next.
And you haven't even had your first kiss?
Not a one, ma'am.
you gotta find the right girl. I have a feeling if I went with you for the exorcism thing with the priest, I would have interacted with you rather than with Ashton. Maybe you could end up with Isabella. That'd be nice.
Do you want to have your first kiss today?
You said you'd stop it. Anna, come on. I can't help it. I really, really can't. And I'm going to apologize lots later. Surely, by the catty smile on my face, it is obvious that I'm just pulling his leg. The laugh I failed to contain certainly gives it away, if it still isn't obvious. But still, he lights up in embarrassment, stammering and sputtering objections.
You're married, and this will be extremely unprofessional.
I never said I would kiss you, silly.
Oh?
Oh, Johans!
Oh no!
No, what? No! Don't call your butler. She's Hannah.
That would be for the better. I don't think his husband would appreciate it if I made him kiss another man.
Oh. I wonder if we get to meet Johanna's husband then. That'd be something. That'd be cool.
I do not think you can hear us from here either.
Wanna bet you're wrong?
But it is hard to think you're not taken, Zachary.
Still, you wanna bet you're wrong? Seriously, butlers have superpowers, I kid you not. I mean, have you seen Sebastian?
Why, whoever becomes your girlfriend will be so lucky to have you. You can cook and take wonderful photographs. Wonderful meals and wonderful memories.
I could play guitar too.
You can? Oh my, wonderful serenades as well then. Perhaps I can find a young lady who deserves a fine, strapping young gentleman like yourself.
Let's not get carried away. Besides, I gotta be going. It's getting late and I got someplace else to be.
Okay.
A shame.
Aw.
I will be expecting you again soon, I hope. For a copy of my photographs, yes?
Course, I'll even deliver them personally. Just, you know, don't try to make me kiss your butler when I drop by.
As fate would have it, the very moment the words left his mouth, Johannes comes out of the house. Judging by the slight raise of his eyebrows, he has heard only the tail end of the sentence.
There shall be no kissing of any butlers under this roof. Danke.
But you are not under a roof, are you, Hansi?
To my amusement, he takes a step back, safely placing him within the threshold of the foyer and under the roof of the house. And, just as ever, he is quick to return with a sardonic reply.
I am now.
Okay, Johann, I like him. I like the butler. The butler is great.
As I was saying, madam, it's about time for supper. Will I be needing to set an extra place at the table?
Oh, what? No, I was just leaving, actually. So, you have a good night, Hannah. And you too, Hansi.
It was nice to meet you, Zach, honey. You have a safe trip.
He nods, and then the grin on his face, as we say our goodbyes. It is the sweetest that I have ever seen. I linger, looking out for him with his relatively tiny bicycle, backpack safely secured in the basket on the front, and the suitcase hooked on the back. I watch as he went down the path back to Ansem Village, until he is nothing more than a blip in the horizon. cannot help but help the small smile on my face as I go inside for supper. Okay, Hannah met Zachary Steele, a freelance photographer from Luxury Living and Interior Design magazine. Zachary was tasked to interview Hannah and to take pictures of the mansion and its new owners. What should have been a professional meeting ended up being friendly and perhaps too personal. Entering the dining hall causes me so much confusion. It is dark. For a moment, I thought the electric work is not up to par. But that certainly is not the case, as every other room is bright with artificial light. Finding the light switch is a monumental task, considering the size and my unfamiliarity with the room. To make matters worse, the darkness grants the room a different atmosphere, eerie and frightening. It takes longer than I thought to find the switch, something that will have to be reflected later. My skin starts to prickle, and there is a distinct feeling of being watched. It unsettles me, and only spurs me on in my search. And when I do open the lights, there is a hiss.
I'll turn the lights down, woman!
What are you drinking? There at the end of the hall is my beloved husband with his face in one hand and a glass in the other. Perhaps I can let it go if it's only one glass of wine. However, I can feel myself go livid after seeing the toxic green liquid gleam mockingly at me.
Luke, what? Are you drinking absinthe?
That is bad for you. What the frick are you doing?
You know what the doctor said. Absinthe, Luke. Are you actively trying to kill yourself? Because if you are, we can just hit you with a bloody car.
Honeybee, Buttercup, not too loud, please. Besides, it's Lelouch, not too strong. Just hair of the dog that bit me. Helps with the hangover, dearest.
You drank? When?
This morning, love. Don't be mad.
You are definitely an alcoholic. You need some major help, buddy.
I just needed a few drinks, having to deal with those simpletons. And maybe I had one too much. You don't see me whinging about you leaving me to handle them on my own.
I had to attend the photo shoot and interview with Luxury Living. You know that. Let's not make this about me, Luke. This is about you and your drinking problem and...
Oh, I don't know, Hannah, darling. What if my drinking problem, as you like to call it, is linked to you?
Excuse me?
If we think about it that way, this discussion is about you.
Oh, you are on the verge of getting slapped, my man. You are on the verge of getting smacked in the face.
That was pretty mean of you, leaving me alone to do all the work like that. You can't use the interview as an excuse either, honey. I was informed the moment your little interview was done. So, what was it then, What were you doing?
You know what? He ain't no cop. He ain't no cop.
I was just tending to the garden, sweetie.
And it went up? It did, okay.
You were?
For a moment, he looks skeptical, and I can tell by the gleam in his eyes and the way he sits up in attention. He thinks I'm lying, but I see no point in bringing up Zachary and aggravating him. I did tend to the gardens for a bit, so it's not a complete lie, just a white lie. Besides, I just know how to please him. Sauntering over and circling around him, I place my fingers on his shoulders. I wasn't expecting to hear that. Okay. He lets out a little groan before melting like butter as I massage his shoulders.
I had to make sure they didn't ruin your favorite daffodils.
Oh, that is wonderful.
I'm not sure if he means the massage or the flowers, but I'll take it. This is better than a fight.
So, absinthe.
Just one glass, Loosh.
I suppose I can let this one go. A bit too late anyway, you've already drank half the thing. But remember your doctor's orders.
Yes, yes, I'll try to drink less.
Try.
Hey, I'm only human. Do you want one?
No.
No, thank you.
Supper is spent in silence, with nothing but the occasional sound of silverware. A grand feast has been served. Well, grander than usual anyway, most likely due to Luke's complaints of stress. A platter of native oysters for starters, and tranche of turbot with purple sprouting broccoli, lemon, capers, and anchovy sauce for mains. Now that looks okay. To finish it all off, black tea and golden syrup sponge pudding with custard. But when our appetites are appeased and the plates have cleared away, Luke stands, kisses me goodnight, and leaves me to stare at my half-empty cup. Lonely in the lull of night, I sit in a house too big and too empty, foreign and unwelcoming. Even with its warm tone and homely decor, it feels cold. There is no need for tears, however. I know I can get through this like every other obstacle I have faced before. This is a minor setback in what I hope will be a long and happy life. To remind myself that this place is for Luke and for our future children fills me with renewed vigor. Besides, it looks like somebody is already having a cry. Oh, fudge. Nope, not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. I'm gonna leave it here. I can't. Okay, so I should have probably left it at the previous one, but whatever. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it, guys. Yeah, my brain's all over the place today. So yeah, well, this has been an episode, and there's gonna be more to come. Maybe 2 more, or heck, depending on how fast you get through Hana's, it could be just 1 more episode of Hana's story. But we'll see. So yeah, I don't really have much to go out on this time, guys. Anyway, this has been Cat Demon 43, and I will see you all in the next episode. Bye, guys.